What would happen if a cyber attack hit on a global scale, crippling our economies and societies? Let's ponder that for a moment. Our world, as we know it, is increasingly reliant on digital infrastructure. It's the backbone of our day-to-day lives, from banking transactions and healthcare records to power grids and transportation systems. Yet this digital backbone is highly vulnerable. Imagine waking up one day to find your bank accounts wiped clean, hospitals unable to access patient records, power grids failing, and transportation systems grinding to a halt. The potential effects of a large-scale cyber attack are chilling, to say the least. We're talking about massive financial losses, widespread disruption of services, and in the worst-case scenario, even loss of life. In the face of these potential catastrophes, one thing is clear. A mega cyber attack is not a question of if, but when. So, how could such a catastrophic event unfold? Let's start with the discovery of a small vulnerability, a tiny crack in the digital fortification that protects our world. Maybe it's an overlooked glitch in a single piece of software, or a forgotten backdoor in an outdated system. This is where it begins. Once the attackers have found a way in, they start to escalate their access, moving stealthily through the virtual corridors of our interconnected systems. With each step, they gain more control, like a shadowy puppeteer pulling the strings. Their targets are not just ordinary websites or databases. They're going after the critical infrastructure that keeps our world running. Imagine the power grids that light up our cities, the transportation systems that move goods and people across continents, and the communication networks that connect us all. These are what's at stake. Now, consider the potential for damage. A successful attack on a power grid could plunge cities into darkness. A disruption of transportation systems could halt trade, causing shortages and economic chaos. And what happens when communication networks go down? We lose our ability to connect, to reach out, to organize. In a world that thrives on interconnectivity, such a scenario could trigger widespread panic and confusion. But it's not just about the immediate impact. The ripple effects of a mega cyber attack could be felt long after the initial shock. The repair and recovery process could take months, even years. And the psychological impact? The fear and uncertainty could alter our relationship with technology, perhaps forever. And all it takes is a small vulnerability, a tiny crack in our defenses. That's why we must remain vigilant, constantly patching, updating, and improving our systems. Because in the digital world, the difference between safety and disaster can be a single line of code. In just a short span of time, a mega cyber attack could plunge us into chaos. Once the dust settles, what could we expect and how can we prevent such an incident? In the wake of a mega cyber attack, we'd find ourselves grappling with a multitude of severe consequences. Firstly, an economic recession could be inevitable. With industries heavily relying on digital systems, a mega cyber attack could halt operations, leading to significant financial loss. Businesses could shutter, unemployment could skyrocket, and economies around the globe could spiral into recession. Secondly, the loss of trust in digital systems. Imagine a world where we're afraid to use our smartphones, operate our smart homes, or even make a simple online transaction. Trust, once lost, is difficult to regain, and this could set us back decades in terms of technology adoption and digital transformation. Thirdly, we could anticipate potential geopolitical tensions. The origin and intent behind such a massive cyber attack could breed mistrust among nations, possibly triggering a new kind of Cold War, a cyber Cold War. Now let's pivot to the brighter side of things. Preventing such an attack is not an impossible task. It demands a three-pronged approach: robust cybersecurity measures, international cooperation, and public education about digital threats. Robust cybersecurity measures include not only advanced protective technologies but also regular system audits and updates. We need to stay one step ahead of potential threats, constantly evolving our defenses to match the sophistication of cyber attackers. International cooperation is crucial. Cyber threats know no borders, so our defenses shouldn't either. A united front against cyber crimes with shared intelligence and coordinated actions can significantly enhance our collective security. Lastly, public education about digital threats is a must. Everyone who uses a digital device should be aware of the potential risks and the basic steps to protect themselves. After all, the strength of a chain is determined by its weakest link. While a cyber Armageddon is a chilling prospect, with the right precautions and preparedness, we can protect our digital world.